Hello everyone, hope you're having a great week. Today's going to be kind of a catch-up video, a combination of a couple of things. Continuing with that $100 movie challenge, we watched a few more from that list, and then I have some recent collection ads and a couple other things to mention here. First up we have A Writer's Odyssey, and this was a definite very Manda pick. It really fit the vibe of kind of movies that she would look for, and this was probably the biggest surprise for me so far. This and Vibes, as far as how great it was. This was fantastic. It's the story of a man whose daughter was kidnapped, and he obsessively tries to find her for 6 years, and things all come to a head when he then is involved with this prominent tech company, and how his dreams are tied to a story that's being written, and how all those characters connect. And the story is a fantasy tale that has a lot of implications for the real world, and those stories intertwine, and you go back and forth between the real world and what's happening in this fantasy realm. And both were handled fantastically. The fantasy stuff, a lot of it was really impressive. Both the quality of the CG animation, along with the creativity and the art style, is really what sold everything, and the action was great, and the drama unfolding in the live action portion was very good. They worked well together. They were both those kind of separate but intertwined worlds were good enough that if you took one, pulled it out, and fleshed it out a little bit more, you could make a good standalone fantasy movie. In this part, if you erase the fantasy element and kind of flesh this part out a little bit more, you could have a really good drama and search for his daughter. And that says a lot when they're so good that with a little more work they could stand on their own. Then you put them together. This is definitely a movie that I recommend. I thought it was fantastic. And then another one that was a bit of a surprise, we have Whoopi Goldberg in Burglar, which this one I had never heard of before. But I love 80s comedies, and that's what really sold this for me. This is another one that will actually be a keeper for the collection. It wasn't anything spectacular, and I think if it had been made in a different time, it might not be one that I'd rewatch. It was definitely enjoyable, but it has very strong 80s comedy vibes, which I really love, and everyone was really good in it. So it's not a mind-blowing comedy, nothing spectacular, but it's a very good kind of middle-of-the-road 80s comedy, just kind of enjoyable, and the kind of thing that I know I'll want to put in again just to relax and laugh and have a little bit of fun with. One that I just could not get into. It's not really my type of movie. We have the Slumber Party Massacre. This kind of horror stuff, especially like 80s slashers and that type of movie, they're very hit or miss for me. Normally it's not really my genre. Normally I'm more into very, Amanda would call it, pretentious horror elements, more so than this kind of thing. And with these, it more is, if it has something fun that I personally just find funny or charming about it, or something in the themes I find terrifying, then I end up liking it. I'm usually, for this type of movie, I more am towards the horror comedies or stuff that is unintentionally comedic. Those maybe I tend to enjoy. But this, overall, Slumber Party Massacre, it didn't do anything for me. It was fun to watch like once, but I watched the special features and stuff, and some of that was fascinating, but overall it was kind of a one and done for me. It wasn't really my kind of thing. Then move into the recent additions to our collections. We have a couple of Eaglemoss starships, the Equinox from Voyager. And as always with anything Star Trek related, if you want a closer look, a little more detail, and you like Star Trek stuff, I do have an entire second channel. These are featured on there, devoted completely to Star Trek. So make sure you check that out. Trek a Day. Talk about Star Trek and upload a new video every single day. We have the Titan, Riker's Command from the books. And then one thrift store find, and one thing I actually ended up pre-ordering. I finally found an HD DVD worth adding to the collection. We have Streets of Fire, a good rock and roll 80s action movie. A lot of fun, a lot of mix of vibes of very 50s style with a lot of the 80s. It's a really interesting fusion, and the soundtrack is one of the big sellers here. And I saw this on VHS one time many years ago, did not own a copy. One of those movies that I didn't love enough to like go out and I gotta buy it kind of thing, but if I ever stumbled upon a copy, I would probably pick it up. But this is the first time I've actually stumbled upon a copy of the movie, and I'm glad it's on HD DVD, a format I don't get to pick up much for. We've been seeing HD DVDs more frequently now at thrift stores, but it's almost always Warner Brothers releases, so a high chance they're not even going to work, and the same kind of generic, cheap, easy to find movies over and over again. So this is the first time that it was something a little more interesting, and I was very happy to grab that, and it was only $3, so I was like, alright, that is a great deal. I have to hook one of the HD DVD players back up, not hooked in right now, and check that out. One that was actually a pre-order, we have Avatar, The Way of the Water, and I wanted to grab this one because this is one that the generic DVD and Blu-ray and even the 4K and stuff, those are going to be a dime a dozen, easy to find at anything from a Walmart, Target, whatever. But with a lot of these releases, I always get the feeling with some of these that, and it's usually true, the 3D release is not going to have as many copies out there and become a little bit harder to grab. So I wanted to grab that for that reason, and it's a 4-disc set, includes the movie on Blu-ray, a special features disc with several hours worth of stuff, and then 2 discs for the 3D version of the movie with the slipcover and everything. So I saw this in theaters. I liked this movie a lot more than the first one. I thought this was a big step up. There still were some things in the storytelling that are a little too predictable, and they worked fine, the stuff that you even kind of saw coming, but it definitely was better than the first. I love the way they expanded the look at Pandora and the other cultures they were looking into. I thought it was all very fascinating, or visually fantastic. So this one really surprised me. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, seeing this in theaters, so definitely one I wanted to add to the collection. And I'll probably be back this weekend if I have time to talk about some video games I've been playing. I'd love to hear what you guys have been up to. I actually started playing a few modern entries in a franchise I had not played since the PlayStation 2. Give it a little bit of a hint there, and my first, aside from Astro's Playroom, PS5 exclusive game. So I've been having a lot of fun. I'll probably be back talking about that. And as far as movie and TV kind of pre-order stuff that's coming up, a few exciting things with Picard and all those different releases. Looking forward to getting a copy of Season 3. And shockingly, if you've not seen the trailer, check it out and you're a big fan of sci-fi, there's an animated Babylon 5 movie coming. And it's actually showing up in August. So that'll be showing up on Blu-ray. It's kind of a weird situation with that, where I was actually a little disappointed there's not just a standard DVD, it's only on Blu-ray or 4K. Mostly because the series is not on Blu-ray, it's just on DVD, and of course, like Laserdisc and everything else. So I would have preferred grabbing this one on DVD just to kind of keep the set together, but whatever it is, what it is. So happy to grab that on Blu-ray coming up soon. Really just, I'm very surprised that it exists, that it's coming out. And it's great that all of the surviving cast members are back to voice their characters, so that should be a lot of fun.